Hi, I'm Charlie for All Outdoors Guide, and today we are talking about this, the La Sportiva Baruntse mountaineering boot. First thing you need to know about this boot is that it's a mountaineering boot, like I just said. This is not a hiking boot. This is not going to be comfortable for your Sunday hikes in July. This is for really ideal for a multi-day mountaineering expedition in cold weather. And not just snow, but cold weather. And if it's not that, then this probably isn't going to be the most comfortable boot, because this is a very thick, very solid, very stiff, very warm boot. You're going to cook if you're wearing this in July somewhere warm. But if you're doing some winter climbing somewhere, or you're somewhere really cold, the Alaska range or whatever, this is going to be nice and toasty. So real solid mountaineering boot. So let's talk about some of the features of this boot. The first one is it's a double boot, which means that it comes with this inner liner. So you slip your foot into this, this goes into this boot, and then you've got this nice two-layer boot system there. That's one you can see with the inner inside it. So there are a couple advantages to that. One thing that's great about these in particular, not all mountaineering double boots are like this, but the Baruntses are. This is heat moldable, much like a ski boot inner. So you can take this to a ski shop, get it molded to specifically fit your foot. You don't have to do that. You can also just wear it right out of the box. But if you want to mold them, to heat mold them, you can, and that's a fantastic feature. Another great thing about these is that because you've got that inner outer, the outer boot is actually completely waterproof. Obviously, aside from the top, water can get in the top, but usually when you're mountaineering, you would be wearing a gaiter or something, pants that are going to be covering this to prevent water from getting in through the top. And there's, as you can see, there's no seam there between the tongue and the side of the boot. There's no seams down here either under the laces. It's just more waterproof material. So no water is getting into these, which is great. Other important features, got a very rigid heel, which is great for crampons, great for ice climbing, not so good for approach hikes and regular hiking, which is why you wouldn't want to wear these for regular hiking. These will actually work okay for approach hikes. I did some testing with them and they're not too bad. But you certainly wouldn't want to wear them for a regular hike. You only want to wear these on an expedition or a hike where you're going to be putting on crampons for most of the time, or an ice climb. They would work for that too, if it's in a cold spot where you want them. Another important feature, obviously, of any mountaineering boot is a heel welt and a toe welt, and this has a very nice, very solid heel and toe welts to fit your crampons on real nicely. Now, obviously, you don't necessarily need both of those to get crampons onto a boot, but the upside of having both of them is that this boot will fit step-in crampons, which are the easiest, probably, type of crampon binding to get on and the most solid to get on sort of quickly out in the snow when you're on the mountain on your expedition. So I'll just show a quick example. This is actually also sized for a different boot, so it's not going to fit on these perfectly because it's a little bit too small. But I'll just show you really quickly the toe bail of this G12. You can see it fits really nicely if you have it strapped on properly and it's the right size over that toe welt. And then in the back, again, if we line the back up here, you can see that fits really nicely over there, and then you just pop this up, pull that up, and then if these crampons were the right size, which they're not, but if they were, then you just lace this over here and you've got a very nice, very solid strapped in crampon. So these fit crampons very well, step-in crampons, which is great, which is very convenient. Another noteworthy feature of these is the lacing. As you can probably see, there's it's basically a traditional lacing system like a shoe or a traditional hiking boot, right? And that is in contrast to some of the competitor products to the Baruntse. So let's look at an example really quick. I also have here, conveniently, I also have a Scarpa Phantom 6000. This is another mountaineering double boot. And as you can see, this has a completely different lacing system. We've got the zip up, zips all the way up to the top for the outer boot, and then the inner boot has traditional laces, but it also has this plastic thing that allows you to pull down and tighten really quickly. You're not tying any knots or anything like that. So the upside of a system like this is that it's quick, it's efficient. You can get these on and get them laced up, tightened up pretty quickly when you're outside. You don't have to be messing with knots and tightening like you do with these. The upside of the Baruntse system is that there is nothing here to break, right? The only thing that can break about this lacing system and about the tightening system of the boot is this lace. And you can bring any number of extra laces with you. They weigh next to nothing. They take up no space in your pack. So it's very easy. If this breaks, pop a new lace in, make a quick repair anywhere, no matter where you are on the mountain, you're going to be fine. Whereas with the Scarpas, if that zipper were to break, then you wouldn't have a waterproof outer boot anymore. That could be a big problem. If the inner thing, if the plastic tightener thing were to break, then you would have to lace them up traditionally. It would just be a little bit more of an issue to fix that when you were out on an expedition than it would be to fix these. So that's kind of a pro or con thing. You know, some people like the more newfangled lacing system. Some people like this traditional lacing system because it's easier to just deal with on the fly. So that's really kind of a question of taste, whether you like this system or you like that system, but it's an important difference between these two things. The most important thing when it comes to any mountaineering boot is comfort. And there are two things to talk about when we talk about comfort. There's the comfort of the fit, and then there's the comfort of are you getting frostbite? And on the frostbite count, there's really nothing to worry about with these boots. These are very, very, very warm. They will suit you fine in almost any situation. Now, if you are climbing an 8,000 meter peak like Everest or something like that, or somewhere really, really cold, then you might, then you probably already know what kind of boots you need, and you might need something even more hardcore than this. But for 99% of your mountaineering exploits out there, these boots are going to be warm enough. And in some cases, they might be too warm. If you're doing somewhere like, Rainier in the summer, people have certainly done Rainier in the summer in these boots, but there are some people who've done that and complained that they were even a little bit too warm. Other people felt that it's fine. It also depends a little bit on how hot or how cold you tend to run. But know that these are quite warm. So in most cases, if you have any issue with the warmth, that's going to be that they're too warm, not that your feet are getting cold, which is a good problem to have in mountaineering boots. It's better than having frostbite. The other issue is the comfort of the fit. And of course, that's a very personal thing. Now, I found these boots to actually not be that comfortable. I have a little bit of a weird walking gait, so that I'm still not sure what the problem is. But when I wear these and do test hikes up and down hills or whatever, I tend to get a bit of a pain, specifically in my right foot, not in my left foot, in the center of the arch. So I didn't find them to be that comfortable. Now, part of the problem with that is this. These are the inserts that they come with. Extremely, extremely cheap, which is kind of disappointing for a boot that is this expensive off the shelf. But I think they just, La Sportiva, I think just assumes that everybody tosses these out and you replace them with Superfeet or whatever your preferred brand of insole is. These insoles are terrible. So it comes with these really, really, I mean, this is like a 25-cent thing. It's really quite cheap. This is what it comes with. So if you do get these, you will probably want to replace these with a better insole of some kind. It doesn't have to be Superfeet. You've got your favorite, whatever you want to plug in there, but don't count on having these be real comfortable for you because they're just really quite flimsy and cheap. They might work for you, but probably not. So like I said, I had a lot of foot pain with these, and so I switched to those Scarpas, and those have worked great for me. But there are hundreds and hundreds of people out there who've used these boots, who love them, who don't have any pain issues at all, and who find the fit to be perfect. So the lesson here is not don't buy these because they're uncomfortable, but it's go in, test them, check the fit, make sure that these are a good fit for you before you buy them. Or if you're buying them online, buy them, but try to keep the tags on, make sure you can return them and do some test hiking as soon as you get them. Try to take them up and down hills a little bit, see how the fit works for you. Experiment with different lacing systems. That's another thing that can make a really big difference. How you're lacing them up, where you're getting tight, where you're keeping a little bit more loose. So that's something that's really important to look at. And they didn't work out that well for me, but that doesn't mean that they won't for you. Like I said, there are many, many people who wear these boots and who absolutely love them. So something to keep in mind. In terms of performance, there's really not much to say. I mean, everybody knows La Sportiva makes great stuff for climbing. These are no exception. They will do you very well. If you have the right fit, they will do you very well. They're even surprisingly good on approach. Now, obviously, it's not comfortable, a rigid heeled boot, to do a lot of approach hiking in something like this. Are these as good as regular hiking boots for the approach hike? No, absolutely not. But they're not as bad as you would think. I was really actually kind of surprised. Even with the pain issue that I was having, it was easier to walk in these than you would expect. And they've got a little bit of, you can get some good flex going up here, which makes it more comfortable to walk without compromising the fact that you've still got this very, very rigid heel. So in terms of performance, I think these are great. In terms of warmth, I think they're great. The build quality is fantastic. Aesthetically, nobody really cares about aesthetics in mountain boots, but it's probably worth pointing out these are a little bit less ostentatious than most of La Sportiva's models. These have kind of a nice subdued, silver. You've got a little taste of splash of color back here, but not too much. So in terms of aesthetics, they're actually pretty good. But the important thing is, will they keep your feet warm? The answer is yes. Will they be comfortable? The answer is maybe. Check your fit. Make sure that they fit your feet. If they do, if these are a good, comfortable fit for you, then this is a fantastic double mountaineering boot that will treat you well for many years, hold its value pretty well, and it'll be great for your expedition climbs, even your single day climbs. If you're in cold areas, doing some winter climbing, this will be fantastic. Ice climbing, they will work for that too. So really, maybe not the best boot for ice climbing, but they will work. If you're doing some mountaineering, some ice climbing, you only want to buy one boot. Climbing in cold areas, this will be great. If they're not a good fit for you, if they're not comfortable, then obviously go somewhere else. So I'd say I think these are a great boot if they fit, but the most important advice I could give to you is check the fit carefully, make sure that they work well for you. But if they do, you're not going to be disappointed. The only thing you might be disappointed in is this terrible liner, but you can replace that very, very easily with Superfeet or whatever else that you want to put in there. So that is the La Sportiva Baruntse.